Today, Precarious plays
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Okay. Tell me the story.
You know how I love it when games that take place in different countries, like, let's say one game covers, say, France and Spain, and of course your main character is going to be in whatever localized language, and yeah, probably most of the signs will be in the localized language. But then the characters are speaking the language appropriate to the country that you are in the game. And we are, as a group of humans, as people, we are so much more interconnected these days that you can do that with a fair amount of accuracy. You can just be like, this game is going to take place in Australia and Sweden and Spain, and we're going to have the Australians speaking with Australian accents in Australia. We're going to have the Spaniards speaking Spanish in Spain, and the Swiss, I forget, speaking Swiss in Switzerland, okay? And your main character is going to have subtitles for anybody that they're talking to in those languages so that they can enjoy the experience, and that's great. I think that that's great. I love how different everything is. It makes life interesting. I love that when they manage to do that in a game. And we were talking about how it's strange, the choice of actors that they got to make the animated Fullmetal Alchemist, or no, the live-action Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, because...
No, it wasn't Brotherhood.
Oh no, well...
The recent Netflix Fullmetal Alchemist adaptation.
Yeah. So the choice of actors...
We were talking about it, and I was talking about how I feel like a dick for wishing that it had more white people.
Yeah.
There, I said it. I said the words.
Well, the thing is that the characters in the anime are intended to represent people of that ethnic origin, right? So, and there are other people of different origins represented throughout it. The point is that they could have gotten some... Boy, you know, it's probably really hard to find some people who look European but speak decent Japanese. But they could have done it. I mean, this world is enormous, like, for Pete's sake.
I mean, it is...
You know?
Part of the problem that I'm having is I don't know how well acted it was, because it seemed really fine. It seemed good. I think just because I don't speak Japanese, and I just have to, like, look at, like, the emotion that people are presenting
Facially.
And, like, through their gestures.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seemed, like...
Really great.
Yeah, they seemed really well acted. But I don't know how true that is because I don't know the language.
Now, you might say that that's too much trouble, and if you're producing something, you just gotta work with what you got, and maybe they were on a budget, and maybe they just wanted to make it feel more Japanese by using a lot of Asian actors. I don't know. I wasn't there, okay? I didn't see the sausage get made. The point is that I've seen something wonderful, and there's a movie that was also on Netflix, and it was called The Concert, but it was about a Russian orchestra going to play a concert in Paris, and when they were in Russia, they were speaking Russian, and when they were in Paris, they were speaking French, and the whole thing, I watched the whole thing with English subtitles, but the entire movie is completely bilingual. And it's great! I love it! It's so good! And I guess, I don't know, Russia and France are a little bit closer than Japan and, you know, Eastern Europe, but still, I mean, we have planes, it's not impossible. You know, it just, like, when I see stuff like that, it makes me so happy, but when I see stuff like, I don't know, man. I just wish everything could be that fun. When you're dealing with an intermingling and mashing of cultures, having them all represented really well just makes it better most of the time.
I have more than I want to say about it, but this is one of the main story quests, so we should talk it out.
He's late. You sure that kid was telling the truth?
His information was very detailed. I trust him.
Here comes our pot of gold now. We've been waiting for you, fugitive.
Again? Huh? Waiting? Yes, we were told you would be coming here.
You may have been let go, but there's still that bounty.
Really?
Who's gonna pay that out exactly? You know what, it's probably the same hiring policies that we were talking about 2 episodes ago. They just put it in place and they're like, go on, take care of it. Hand wave.
Ooh, I think that's worth stealing. Yeah.
Just remembering how good that movie was. It was just so, like, funny and weird.
Let's talk about the other things about the Fullmetal Alchemist live-action movie that
Let's
won't
talk
make
about
me,
story and characters.
yeah, won't make me feel so bad
Yeah.
for bringing it up. They tried to cram way too much in to it's a pretty long movie. It's like over 2 hours long.
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
they still didn't do a very good job with the pacing because they just tried to cover from like the first episode to part of the arc with the creepy priest with the Philosopher's Stone and everything with the what is his name? The something life alchemist.
oh yeah.
His daughter and the family dog.
Oh god, they did that?
Yeah.
They did that? They went there? I don't want to go there. Not in real. Ooh, no. Why? Well, anyway.
They did like that big scene, the big fight scene with all of the sort of like claymen, I guess would be
yeah.
one way to describe them.
Yeah.
Like the putties, the Power Ranger putties.
Yeah.
And in the big fight scene between Lust and Mustang. So they tried to cover a lot of ground, and everything was just like really jammed in there because of it, you know?
One thing that I worry about when I see a movie adaptation of anything that's much longer than a movie and is not going to get the screen time of a full television series is sometimes, in fact most of the time, it feels like somebody read through what was there and was like, what would be the most beautiful things to show people? What would be the most enticing, exciting, and crazy looking things that we want to display? And fuck all the story in between, and we'll get into character development whenever we get it. Like, that's what it feels like a lot of the times. They just pick stuff that's gonna look really cool, and then they're like, oh yeah, and they're doing this because who cares? Look, explosions! Check it out!
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the transmutation effects were neat.
Well, they could have picked like 3 episodes instead of trying to do like a season and a half. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of story there. A lot of the episodes or like little mini arcs are plenty.
Or, you know what? You know what I would have preferred to see? I would have preferred to have like a mini series where they didn't try to connect any of it at all. They didn't try to tell like an overarching story. They just tried to present like the series highlights in live action. Because that's essentially what they did, but it's packaged like a movie and it suffers for it.
Yeah.
Like if someone said, hey, Netflix is releasing a series of shorts, like a little mini series where it's like a few of the fights and like the dramatic scene where they try to bring their mom back. Oh, like Pokemon Pokemon did with the animated shorts that they had.
I was thinking Forward Unto Dawn, the Halo stuff. That was really great. I loved watching that.
That was a mini series as well, but it's still like told a story. I'm thinking more like the other Halo thing, the collection of of Halo shorts.
Oh, the anime collection?
Right.
Well, they weren't all the same. They were different styles, but it was cool. Yeah, I liked that too.
I especially like the one short where someone has to defend like a complex or like a ship as it's trying to be evacuated, I think. Mm-hmm. And he does it with like some sort of prototype Mjolnir vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
I remember mostly the I don't remember that one as well. I remember one with a family of, what are they called? Elites?
Yeah.
That somebody was king and there was somebody killed somebody else's best friend, wife, whatever, meaningful other. Mm-hmm. And it was bad and there was a war and then...
I don't remember that. That sounds really elaborate.
It was not as elaborate as I'm making it out, but I read between a lot of lines, so I'm probably making it much more complex. But yeah, I remember that, and that would have been fun. And the thing is I think anime audiences are up for a lot more shenanigans. Like, it doesn't always have to make sense for us. Sometimes it just, it's there and take it or leave it. Like, anime is so freaking zany. Like, maybe it was an attempt to get an anime story out to different audiences that would, like, not watch something on the basis that it was anime.
It does not do the source material justice, I think, because it doesn't look as good because no one can... You don't have the moments where someone calls Ed short and then his entire face distorts in protest.
It's just some human getting grumpy going like, I'm not short.
Yeah, he's just like, what did you call me? Like, what? And like, he just, he has like, his brow furrows, his mouth opens a little bit to the maximum extent that someone can without looking completely ridiculous.
Although it would be really, really creepy if somebody CGI'd everybody's facial expressions to be an approximation of like anime goofiness. Like, that idea makes me want to vomit. So
yeah, let's not
ask for that horror. But at the same time, like, well, my reaction, like, why Fullmetal Alchemist? Of all things, why Fullmetal Alchemist? Like, there are so many anime properties. Like, you know what I want to see? I want to see Space Brothers live action. I would totally watch the shit out of that.
It feels like that's another one where, because they specifically go to Russia and they go to Texas, is it Texas and Florida?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
They go to those places, and that one I think would really suffer if suddenly everyone was just, it was just suddenly a monoculture.
Yeah, well then they would just have to not make it like that. It's the space program. Obviously, it's going to be international. Doy.
You'd think that.
Like, maybe it would start at JAXA. You know what they would probably do? They would start it at JAXA and then end it at JAXA. And no one would go to the moon and no one would meet anybody and it would be a boring story. The end. Never mind. Don't touch it. I love Space Brothers. I take it back.
It is the healing show about space.
It is. I love that show.
Did I just get zapped with holy? Oh, I did. Woo!